Yesterday, students, we have gone through Chandragupta Vikramaditya, Sri Tyagaraja, Aryabhatta. Today, we are starting our topic with the Bhagat Singh. Bhagat Singh was a freedom fighter, a revolutionary who sacrificed his life for the freedom of India. Now, where he was born? Bhagat Singh was born on September 28, 1907, in the village Banga of Lyalpur district of present-day Pakistan. So earlier Pakistan was part of India before independence. But after independence, Pakistan was separated from India and it became a new country. Bhagat Singh grew up in a patriotic atmosphere as his father and uncle were great freedom fighters. Yes, 1907, because at that time India was under the British rule. British ruled over India for 200 years ago. So he saw the environment in the family about freedom fighting. So he also became a freedom fighter. During Bhagat Singh's childhood, the freedom struggle was at peak. At peak means it was at first importance was given. The massacre at Jallianwala Bagh on April 13, 1990 drew him to go to Amritsar. He was just 12 years old at the time. Students, you know about the incidents, massacre at Jallianwala Bagh. What happened at Jallianwala Bagh? I'll tell you. See, Indians they were gathered together at Jallianwala Bagh. It is in Punjab, Amritsar. They gathered to fight against the British. So at that time, Lord Curzon was there, and he ordered that those who have gathered at Jallianwala Bagh should be shoot. What he did, he closed all the gates of that Jallianwala Bagh so that no one could move out and started firing. So all the people, there were thousands of people on that Bagh. Means children, women, elderly people, young, everyone were there. And all were killed. Some of them tried to rescue. They fell on the well to save their life. But all were started jumping in the well. So they all were killed. Not a single person was left alive in this Jallianwala Bagh incident. So after this incident, Bhagat Singh decided that he will take revenge against the British and make India free from the British rule. And at that time, this was Jallianwala Bagh incident. Bhagat Singh was only 12 years old. Bhagat Singh, along with the help of Chandrasekhar Azad, formed the Hindustan Socialist Republic Army and he organized his own army to fight against the British. In February 1928, the Simon Commission visited India. Indian freedom fighters started an agitation called Simon Go Back. It was in this agitation that during police lathi charge, Lala Lajpat Rai was hurt and died on the spot. To avenge the death of Lala Lajpat Rai, Bhagat Singh and Rajguru shot and killed the British officer who had hurt Lala Lajpat Rai. So, see what happened in February 28th, the Simon Commission. As British were ruling, their rules were coming from England. So Simon Commission came. According to this commission, what was that? Any Indians who found who were struggling for the freedom fighter, or then police can arrest them. Means any people who has gathered, the British would arrest them and put in jail. So this was done with the Lala Lajpat Rai. So Bhagat Singh and Lala Lajpat, this Rajguru decided to kill that British officer who had shot on the Lala Lajpat Rai. And in April 1929, the Central Legislative Assembly met in Delhi. Bhagat Singh and Bhukteshwar Datta threw a bomb on the Legislative Assembly. They were arrested and put in jail. Later, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru were hanged on 23rd March on 1931. So, this Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Sukhdev, they wanted to take the revenge from the British government and make India free. So what they did, they threw a bomb on the Legislative Assembly at New Delhi. And because of that, this Bhagat Singh got arrested. Along with Bhagat Singh, there were two others, Sukhdev and Rajguru. They were put in the jail and hanged to death. Hanged to death means they were given Fasi in Hindi it's called. So, thus Bhagat Singh became Shahid Bhagat Singh or martyr at the young age of 24 years only. So, at the very young age, only he sacrificed his life for the freedom of the nation. Students, this was about the Bhagat Singh. See, we should be very proud that we are born in such a nation where the people sacrifice, and at present also we can see the people staying at Jammu and Kashmir border. They every day we find one or two soldiers are giving sacrificing their life for the India, for the motherland India. Yes, students. Now we move towards the next great people, that is Dr. C.V. Raman, an eminent scientist. Yes, see, we are seeing the great personalities from different fields. Earlier, first we saw the king, Vikramaditya, Chandragupta Vikramaditya. Then we saw a poet, saint composer, Aryabhatta, a mathematician. Then a freedom fighter, Bhagat Singh. Now we are moving towards a scientist, Dr. C.V. Raman. Sir Chandrasekhar Venkataraman was great. The full form of C.V. Raman is Shri Chandrasekhar Venkata Raman. Students clear? You should be know complete name also. So what is his complete name? Shri Chandrasekhar Venkat Raman is the full form of Dr. Sir C.V. Raman. He was a great scientist of India. He was born in Trichurpalli in Tamil Nadu. So he belonged to southern part of India. India, and when he was born. He was born on 7th November 1888. His father was a professor of mathematics. Yes, Sri Chandrasekhar was a scientist and his father was a professor of math. Professor of math means teacher. A person who is teaching in school is called a teacher, and a person who teaches in the college level after 12th. Students, from grade 1 to grade 12, it is school teaching. And after grade 12, you people move in colleges. And who is teaching in college is called as professor. Clear, students? Who is professor? A person who teaches in the college is called a professor. So, C.V. Raman's father was a professor. And when he was born on 7th November 1888. Raman was a good in studies from early childhood. He finished his secondary school education and entered AVN College. Yes, he was Dr. Srivi Raman was very intelligent in his childhood. So after completing his secondary education, he moved towards the college. He joined the Presidency College in Madras. And in 1907, he stood first and received his MA degree. Yes. So he stood first in his college after completing his MA. C.V. Raman's first job was with the Indian Civil Services as an accountant in Calcutta. So he fought for the civil services also. Civil services students, it is the highest service in the country. Indian Administrative Service is called as civil services, and there he served as an accountant. So first job that Dr. C.V. Raman performed was an accountant in civil services. Then he did science experiment in his spare time. So whatever time he was getting, he was sparing in experiments, performing science experiments because he was interested in science. In the year 1917, Raman became a professor of physics at Calcutta University. And after his studies and job, in 1917, he became the professor teaching at the college. There he carried on with his research on optics and scattering of light. So the subjects which he chose were physics. Students, when you will go for the higher studies, you will be studying about physics. Here, students, physics is a part of science. In 1929, C.V. Raman was made a knight. Dr. Steven got the Nobel Prize in 1930 for his discovery of scattering of light called the Raman effects. So students, he got students, he got the Nobel Prize in 1929 for his discovery of scattering of light. Scattering of light means how lights are spreading, that he discovered in his physics, and he got the Nobel Prize for that thing. Now, then in 1934, Raman became the director of Indian Institute of Science at Bangalore. And see, in 1929 he got the Nobel Prize. These are his achievements, students. In 1930, for the discovery of scattering light called the Raman effect. Then in 1934, he became the director of Indian Institute of Sciences in Bangalore. Now, present day Bangalore is called as Bangalore. In 1947, post independence, Sir C.V. Raman became the first national professor. And after independence, what happened? He became the national professor. After retirement from the Indian Institute in 1948, he established the Raman Research Center in Bangalore. And when he got retired from his job, he started a research institute in Bangalore. Sir C.V. Raman inspires budding scientists. In 1954, India honored him with the Bharat Ratna Award, highest civilian award. So, Bharat Ratna. Bharat Ratna is the Indian main best award, first highest award. So, he was given, after his death, he received this Bharat Ratna award. So many awards and prizes Dr. C.V. Raman has won. So, why he has won? Because of his hard work, his services to the development of the country. For that, he received Nobel Prize, Knighthoods Award. Then he got Bharat Ratna also in 1954 after his death. So students, this was about the C.V. Raman. Now we move towards the Bhartiyar or national poet. So we have gone through the different personalities. Now we move towards the poet. Subramaniam Bhartiyar was a great Tamil poet. He was a Tamil poet, means he was knowing Tamil very well, and he belonged to Tamil Nadu state. He was a great Tamil poet. Bhartiyar was born on December 11, 1882 in Ittyapuram in Tamil Nadu. So you all know, okay, C.V. Raman was born in 18 only, but 7th now November 1888, and this Subramaniam Bhartiyar was born on December 11, 1882. He was educated at local school. When he was 22 years old, he became a teacher in a school in Madurai. So, at the age of 22, he became a teacher in Madurai school. Later, he worked in many newspapers and magazines as he was a writer. So, he started writing in newspapers and magazines. Bhartiya was a linguistic. Linguistic means knowing many languages. It's not. Linguistic means a person who knows different languages is called as linguistic. Here students you can underline and write the meaning. Linguistic means knowing many languages. Bhatyar was a linguistic. Students you can underline this linguistic. He could read and write many languages including Bengali, Hindi, Sanskrit and English. So I said linguistic means knowing many languages. So which languages he was well versed? Bengali, Hindi, Sanskrit and English. And apart from that, he was knowing Tamil also. He believed in one God. Yes, okay. He said there is only one God. He sang of Hindu gods or wrote songs for Jesus Christ and Allah. So he was believing in secularism. All gods should be the same. As he said, he was believed in one God. So that's why only he sang songs of Hindu gods, write songs for Jesus Christ and Allah also. In 1912, Bhartiar joined the freedom struggle movement. His famous poem Vidyuthalai, Vidyuthalai was called for India's freedom, and he wrote his famous poem Vidyuthalai that was for the freedom fighting because when he was born at that time India was under the British rule. Bhatia died on 12 September 1921 at the young age of 39 years. Clear students? So he died at the age of 39 years only. But still see, in his life of 39 years, he became world famous, a renowned poet, national poet. Okay, students? So this was about your great personalities. Okay, now we start